One of the major questions I've been getting is to how to make your Schoology page streamlined and easy to navigate for your students. So that's what we're going to take you through today. The first feature that is extremely helpful in doing so is to use the updates feature to create announcements in your Schoology page. So if I go to updates, it brings me to this window right here. I can type my updates here. It'll let you know what course sections these updates are going to. You can make your text bold, you can underline it, you can attach files, links, resources, you can do a video or audio recording for your students, you can poll them if you want to ask them a really quick question. This is just a copy from your clipboard. And you can also, in order to make an announcement that appears at the top of your page, you can click this little tab right here and then click post. So one of the things I recommend is to post your office hours in your announcements, along with any due dates that students have coming up. In order to remove the announcement from the top of the page, all you have to do is click remove underneath it. However, all of those updates will remain saved in this bar below. So you won't lose them forever. You'll be able to see what you previously announced to the students. Obviously, that's just one feature. The best way to organize your class is to keep folders on your main page. I highly recommend having a previous assignments folder in which all the previous work your students have done is stored, and only keeping the work that they're responsible for either that day or that week on your front page. If you haven't created folders before, they're very easy to do. You click Add Materials, Add Folder, and I'll create a folder for Monday, April 20th, because that's what we have coming up. And then a feature a lot of people don't use, but is actually extremely helpful in helping to help your students navigate this Schoology, is to give a description to your folder, because that will appear directly underneath it in your page, and it'll make it clear what the folder is for. So you can say, like, maybe I'll have my students discussion board for April 20th, assignment for April 20th. Underneath, it lets you set availability dates. I know we're being extremely flexible with the students right now, so you wouldn't necessarily want an availability date, but you can in the future have things available to them only for a certain amount of time, beginning, say, April 20th at 5 a.m., and then maybe ending it April, let's say 22nd at... I'm going to keep it unpublished because I don't necessarily want my students to see it right now, and I'll click create. So now you'll see I have this folder down at the bottom. But let's focus on what they have to do for today. So I created this folder similar to the way I did for the April 20th folder. If we go inside of it, you'll see I gave it a title. I highly recommend making the title of anything you create in Schoology the date the students are supposed to be accessing it. That seems to trigger something in their heads and keeps them organized. Again, in the description, this folder contains work you're responsible for from Monday, April 17th through April 19th, and it tells them what they are actually responsible for. I'll click Save Changes, and it looks just like this up here. Normally, when you make new things in your Schoology page, it defaults to the bottom. An easy way to move things is to simply click and drag. So if I wanted to move this folder, I would be able to click it and then move and drag. Sometimes it's a little tricky on grabbing it, but there you go. So this folder is now at the top. This is what my students are responsible for. In order to access it, they can do it one of two ways. They can do what I just did, which was click the caret to open it up and see what's underneath, or they can actually click the folder name. Again, like I said before, the best way to keep your kids organized is to create the title of whatever it is with the date they're supposed to be accessing it. So for April 17th, they have a discussion topic. They have to read an article and post a reaction, watch a video and post a reaction, and then respond to one classmate's post on the article and on a classmate's post on the video. I have a typo in there, which is an easy fix. And one classmate's post on the video. Awesome. Loading. It saved it. Beautiful. I have the article just below. If I click here, it opens up the article that I want them to read. I have the video as well. It opens up the video I want them to watch on the 1998 New York Yankees, the best team ever. They'll have to do 2 posts. They can write their post out here and click post in order to fulfill their assignment. Now, they're obviously responsible for something else as well. They're responsible for an assignment. So they can either go back to the folder right here, or they can click next and it'll bring them to their next assignment. I created this assignment as a Google Drive assignment because I have that app in my Schoology page, but I'll show you what it looks like when I first made it. So I clicked add materials and add assignment, and this window popped up, and then I filled it out. I click at it. There we go. Again, I gave it a title with the date, what it is, an assignment. It's a presentation on the 1998 New York Yankees, the best team ever. I gave them directions on what they're supposed to be doing, so it makes it nice and clear. Again, because I have the Google Drive Assignments app, I was able to click this button and attach a pre-made Google slide that I had to share out with them. But all of the students, once they access this, will have a copy that they can create and use on their own. I did a grading scale rubric. Again, grading categories. If you have your gradebook categories in there, fantastic. If you don't, you can put it as ungraded. You'll still be able to give it a grade. It just won't go to a category in the gradebook. I gave it a due date. I can always individually assign this to my students, and then I just click save. Now my students have the two things that they're responsible for on this particular day. So I'm going to navigate back to materials right here. I also highly recommend having a previous assignments folder. So once I'm done with the work on Friday, April 17th, and I want them to access the work on Monday, April 20th, it's very easy to move stuff around. So for example, I'll just click the gear right here, click move, and I want this folder to go into previous assignments. I'll click that there. And now all I have here is my previous assignments folder that the kids can see. I click publish all. I can move this folder up. And now my students have access in their previous assignments folder to Friday, April 10th, Tuesday, April 14th, Friday, April 17th. And now here's their work for Monday, April 20th. Any work that obviously I didn't create it yet, but any work that they have to access would be in here. This is a great way to keep things really, really, really easy to navigate for them. Obviously, if you guys have any other questions or any ideas of your own, please reach out to me. That's all for now. Have a great weekend.